right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be Alex's hype man here for a minute. So we are very privileged here on this wonderful Tuesday, August 11th at 12:15 Pacific Standard Time to have a great trainer and coach and agent for our company, Mr. Alex Hollander. And he's going to talk to us about AI, the hot buzzword in the world of real estate, AI. And thank God he is around to teach this, because the last thing you want is me teaching anything about AI, because that will get you nowhere. So thank goodness that Alex is around and he's great with these types of things. So pay attention, but I know that not everyone is super tech savvy. So I'm going to just say this. And if Alex doesn't agree with this, I'll beg for forgiveness later. But if he says something that you need him to repeat, ask him to repeat it or put it in a chat box, or if you need him to slow down or if you need him to go over anything again, just do that, because this is a really important topic. And I know it's not, again, we're not all super tech savvy, so don't be afraid to do that. We want to make sure you get it. And Alex always does a phenomenal job of explaining it in really foolproof style. So we're very excited, very honored to have him with us. So everybody give this man a round of applause. Alex Hollander.
Woo, Alex.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the digital round of applause. So we'll get it going. Really quick in the chat. If you're using AI right now for anything real estate related, go ahead and put a one, just the number one, just so I know who is active using AI for something. All right, great. A lot of ones in there. Good, good, good. I don't know if you could hear that, but there's a car right outside the office here going crazy. Oh, it just got fixed, so we're good now. All right, so thank you, Robert, for that introduction. I hope you guys are having a great afternoon. Today we are talking about AI, but I want to make something very clear before we start. This is not a tech class. So if you are not super well versed in artificial intelligence, that is good news. This is almost like beginner level, but more than, you're going to get a little bit more, but it's specifically beginner level for you, for a real estate agent. So this isn't like general AI tips for somebody who just wants to use AI for random stuff. This is specifically for us as real estate agents and how we can use AI today to kind of supplement and help you in your business. So again, I'm not going to spend an hour explaining AI, machine learning. We're not talking about algorithms. We're not talking about anything that happens behind the scenes, which is the heavier, easy to get lost in things. And just to start off, we're going to specifically focus on Chat GPT today. So if you use Claude, you use Perplexity, you use any of these other sites for AI today, we're specifically just going to focus on Chat GPT. So I'm hoping that you guys are somewhat familiar with Chat GPT. But I don't really care if you understand Chat GPT. That's not what this class is about. All this is about is you guys being able to leave this class today knowing how to use ChatGPT tomorrow morning in your real estate business. That is it. As long as you can use something today, tomorrow, then victory here. Because I do know there's agents right now who are using AI to write better communication, to prepare for appointments, to create marketing, to follow up with their database, to analyze information, to practice difficult conversations, or as we call it, scripts and role play. And when they do these things, they save themselves hours every single week, right? But then there are other agents who have only opened an AI software like ChatGPT maybe once or twice, or every once in a while, and they type simple things like, write me an Instagram caption. And then they get something back that's kind of iffy, kind of cheesy. And they say, you know what, I don't really see what the big deal about this whole AI thing is. And then they never use it again. And those are two completely different ways that people are using this technology. And what we're going to talk about today is very specifically that AI is not going to replace you as real estate agents, but it is going to help the agent who might replace you. And that's very important to realize. It's not about the technology. It's the fact that there are other agents who are using the technology to be better than you, to have a one up on you, to be faster than you, to look smarter than you. Again, so AI is not going to replace you, but an agent who uses AI might replace you and might take your business. And that's very important for us to understand. And I don't mean that as something, some kind of like scary prediction. I just mean that if they use these tools effectively, they are faster, they are more prepared, more consistent, and they're definitely more responsive. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So really quickly, this does require a little bit of a mindset shift for you guys. I want to say that artificial intelligence or AI should replace any friction that you have in your business right now, but not your judgment. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, this is the most important slide of this entire class. If you remember nothing else today, remember this: AI should replace friction, but not your judgment. So I want you to think about your normal workday as a real estate agent. All right. I want you to think about how much time you lose on a day to day basis doing these things, trying to figure out how to word an email, rewriting a text message a few times to make sure it's perfect before you send it out, organizing your notes after one of our classes or one of our meetings or after you talk to a client, staring at a screen trying to write a listing description, figuring out what to say and how to say it when you follow up with somebody, preparing for difficult seller conversations. How about this? Reading through 60 pages of maybe an NHD report or some type of report, right? Trying to locate three key pieces of information in an HOA document, right? Planning for your social media, turning ideas into usable material that you can use. None of these things are actually why clients hire us, right? Clients hire us for our experience, for our judgment, for our negotiation, for our relationships, for our knowledge of the market. They hire us for our strategies. They hire us because we're able to hold their hand and guide them through a transaction. But there's all of these other things that create friction surrounding those important activities. And that's where AI becomes powerful because we're not just outsourcing our responsibility. So AI is not just saying, hey, we're going to have a computer do this for us. That's not what we're doing. Where AI becomes super, super powerful is when we use it to kind of get through all of the friction that we have when we're dealing with some of these things, right? So when you're able to figure out these three things, what you can delegate, what you have to verify, and what still requires you to show up for, if you can figure those three things out, that's what your skills are. Your skills are what you can delegate, what you can verify, and what still needs you to show up or what still needs a human touch, right? And so as a mindset, again, AI is not just replacing or shouldn't replace your judgment. AI should replace your friction that you have as a real estate agent. So we're going to really break into this real quick. Like Robert said, if I go too fast or you want me to stop and talk about something a little more detailed, we can definitely do that today. All right. So I want you to think of ChatGPT or any of the AIs that are out there as 6 different assistants that you have, right? One of the mistakes that people make when they think about AI is we think about it as one thing. They think, oh, ChatGPT is a writing program. That's way too narrow. It's not just a writing program, right? I want you to think of ChatGPT almost like you've been given 6 assistants to help you with your business, right? You have a communications assistant. This is the person that helps you with text, with emails, with updates, and figuring out how to phrase things. You have a marketing assistant. This is the person who helps you with your listings, your social media, your reels, your campaigns, your video ideas, right? You have a research assistant. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I come from a church background. I used to be a pastor at a church. And one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is a lot of pastors who speak every single weekend, they have a research assistant who looks into the details of the research about what they're talking about, right? So you have a built-in research assistant. Something happens in the market and a client asks you about it. This assistant can help you research answers, right? You also have a business coach. You can talk about goals, plans, schedules, accountability, all of these things, right? And then the other two is a role play partner. You can have an assistant that helps you with role play, that practices listing presentations with you, price reduction conversations, objections, and any other difficult conversations you might be having as an agent. And lastly, you have an administrative assistant. meeting notes, summaries, checklists, organization, right? And here's what's really, really interesting about using AI is you don't have six different programs. You have one ongoing conversation, and that conversation moves between all these different roles. So what I want you guys to stop doing is stop thinking, what can Chat GPT write for me? And I want you to start thinking, what can Chat GPT help me think through? Because these are still your ideas. It's just helping you organize and think through a couple things. Okay, guys? So the wrong question to ask is, can AI do my job better than me? Can AI even do my job? That's not a good question because the simple answer is no, AI cannot do your job. Not the parts of your job that matter, at least. ChatGPT cannot shake somebody's hand. It can't walk through a seller's living room and understand the emotional attachment that that seller has with the house. It can't build your reputation in a community. It can't replace 20 years of your market knowledge. It can't create trust between you and the person that's sitting across from the room with you. It can't make uncomfortable prospecting calls. So I want you guys to stop asking, hey, is AI going to take my job? I want you guys to start asking, can AI do my job for me? Right? So, or instead of asking, like, if it can do your job, I want you to start thinking about what friction can AI remove from my day for me? Because if we can save you 45 minutes of admin work, what could you do with those 45 minutes? Make your calls, prospect, follow up, meet people, preview property, create videos, talk to past clients. And there's a big opportunity in that when we start using AI for those purposes, guys. All right. So today's flow, we're going to talk about a couple different things. Everything that I show you is going to be practical. It's intended to be practical, but we're basically going to talk about four basic things. Delegating the drag, the little tasks that eat up your time, basically, delegating those. Preparing yourself a little bit better. So preparing yourself for appointments, objections, conversations, client questions, right? We're going to talk about communicating faster because real estate is literally all about communicating all day long. If you're not on your phone or talking to people for most of your day, I don't know if you're actually a real estate agent, right? And the fourth thing we're going to talk about is verifying things, verifying data, verifying laws, verifying facts, property details, fair housing issues, things of that nature. We're going to spend time on that as well. Okay, but the one important rule today: do not just listen. If you're listening right now, don't just sit there and listen. I really think you're going to benefit from this if you open ChatGPT up on your phone or on your desktop. Open it up, and try some of the things that we're going to go over in a second. Because you don't just learn by watching; you're going to have to learn by doing. Right? You learn ChatGPT by using it. So I'm going to give you a quick case study. Let's see. All right, case study number one. If you were taking notes, this is the main thing to focus on. One of the things that you can be using your ChatGPT for as a real estate agent is turning your messy thoughts into clean communication. All right. This is the easiest, most immediate use of AI for a real estate agent. So how many times a day do we talk to people? We talk to buyers, we talk to sellers, we talk to agents, we talk to lenders, we talk to escrow, we talk to transaction coordinators, we talk to our leads, we talk to our past clients. In fact, our entire business is built on communication. And sometimes you know exactly what you want to say, but you just don't know how to say it or how to word it the right way. And that's an amazing use for artificial intelligence, especially now, because I don't even necessarily have to type everything or anything. Personally, I literally talk to ChatGPT, verbalize things to it, right? And I basically give it messy voice dumps all day long. I'll say things like, here's everything that I need my seller to know. Can you clean this up for me? And then I just word vomit everything I want to share with my seller. So those are some very, very, very specific ways that you can use it. So a live demo that you guys can start using today, if you are following along on your phones or on your desktops, is I'm going to give you a quick voicemail dump that you can, or a quick voice dump that you can use. So you can demonstrate this without carefully preparing some perfect prompt, because that's the point. You can just talk to your chat GPT. So let's pretend that you are driving between appointments and you need to update your seller with some information, right? You can literally tap a button on ChatGPT and say something like, hey, chat, I'm going to give you a messy voice dump. I want you to turn this information or this message, turn this into a text message that I'm going to send out to my sellers. I want you to keep it professional. I want you to keep it confident. I want you to keep it conversational. I don't want you to make me sound corporate. I want you to preserve all the facts that I'm sharing. And this is what I need you to share. We had 3 showings this weekend. One buyer really liked the property, but thought the yard was kind of small. Another buyer is deciding between your house and another house. Nobody has really given us any negative feedback about the price yet. I'm following up with all the agents today. And at this point, I recommend giving it another weekend before we talk about any type of price adjustments. Now, ChatGPT may respond and spit out to you a perfect text message that sums up everything you just said to it. And here's the interesting part about it. A lot of people would stop there. They ask ChatGPT something, ChatGPT gives them the answer. They think that that's it, but that's not just it. The conversation is actually just starting. Because after you share what you need to share with your buyer or your seller or whoever you're talking to, then you can say, this is great. Can you make it 30% shorter? Or if it's too short, this is great. Can you make it 30% longer? Can you make the opening slightly warmer? You know what? I don't like the phrase market response. That doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound like something I would say. Can you make it sound more natural? And then you can say, hey, that's better. Now, I want you to use this communication style with everybody that I talk to or everything I give you going forward. And guys, that is how you use AI to make it work for you. Because the first response that AI gives you does not have to be a perfect response. You are the curator of what you're saying. So the first response should not be perfect. You should direct it. You should think of ChatGPT kind of like an assistant. If you had a human assistant and they gave you a draft, you wouldn't fire them because the sentence didn't sound right. You would tell your assistant, hey, I need you to change this. I need you to make this shorter. Don't say that. That's great. Keep that. And that's exactly how you should be communicating with ChatGPT. Any questions about that? Gina Hines asks, how do you keep all the conversations with chat organized? That's a great question. You actually can create multiple project folders. What I would suggest to you, if you're that organized of a person, for every single transaction that you have, every single client, you can create a file in ChatGPT for that person or for that home. That'd probably be the easiest way for you to keep all those conversations organized. But if you are paying for Chat Premium, which is about $20 a month, you have unlimited storage. So you can just research or search bar anything that you type. You do need to have a paid subscription for it to remember your tone. But if you're using ChatGPT the way that I'm sharing with you today, you're going to probably want to invest that $20 a month into having some type of AI help. Because most of us, we would opt to pay for a buyer's agent or to pay for an assistant when this might do a lot of the work for you. But right now, I pay $20 a month for ChatGPT. All right. Now, I want to make one quick teaching point for you guys. When you're giving these prompts, like the one I just shared with you, that I just verbalized with you, the better the context that you provide, the better the result. Now, that's obvious, right? Like if you give more context, you're going to get better results in anything you do. But if you say, write a seller update, you're going to get a garbage response. Like if all you say is, hey, chat, I need you to give me a seller update, you're not going to get a good response. You have to give it a situation. You have to give it facts. You have to give it an audience. You have to give it tone, right? And if you do that, you get a completely different result. So let's see. I have a slide for that. Let's see. No slide for that. So yeah, give it context, give it situations, give it facts, give it audience, give it tone. That's very, very, very important. We're going to move on to the next teaching point here. Now you can use ChatGPT to practice hard conversations before you have to have those hard conversations. It's funny, I was watching Kiana's presentation yesterday during one of her classes on here, and we were talking about some similar things. This is one of the things she uses ChatGPT for, and I do as well. I think it's genius. And again, she made a good point yesterday. If you watched her presentation, this doesn't replace our live scripts or role play. Nothing is going to be better than having a real life coach. But if you aren't available during the hours of the actual live scripts and role play we offer, this is a great way for you to kind of learn and practice with yourself. So practicing hard conversations before the hard conversation starts. So you can type in basically, one of the most underrated ways that we use AI is to practice, because we practice everything else, right? If you're an athlete, they practice, attorneys prepare arguments, speakers rehearse their presentations, but real estate agents, we sometimes walk into a $1.5 million listing appointment and we're just like, you know what, we'll see how this goes. We'll figure it out along the way. And I always am like, why do we do that? We can practice our conversations before we walk into some of these situations that we walk into, because a lot of our situations happen over and over again to us. Our business is very much the same thing over and over. So think about conversations like price reductions, getting a low appraisal back. That's a big one right now. Inspection issues. That's a pretty big one. A buyer who wants to write an offer that doesn't make sense, right? You have a buyer who's like, let's just write an offer $200,000 under ask, right? A client who's pissed off at you or angry with you, a seller who's convinced that their house is worth $150,000 more than what all the comps are telling you it's worth. You can research or you can rehearse all of these conversations with ChatGPT pretty easily. And so let's give you a live demo on how you can do that. So let's say that I've got a listing. All right, we're going to do a price reduction role play demo. So let's say you have a listing and your listing is sitting. In fact, I talked with an agent today in our Valencia office. He has a listing right now, 90 days on market. He needs to have a price reduction conversation. He could practice this with ChatGPT right now if he wanted to. Because, guys, if a house is sitting, it's not rocket science. We all know it's sitting because it's overpriced, right? And so let's say I have this house, it's sitting. I need to do an approximate $25,000 price reduction. But my sellers are emotionally attached and they've already resisted me doing a price reduction. Instead of me calling them cold, I can prepare. I can say, type this into your chat. I can say, hey, chat, I need to tell my sellers that I recommend a $25,000 price reduction. They're emotionally attached to the home and they've resisted me doing reductions before. Can you please give me a conversation outline? Can you give me questions I should ask before making my recommendation? Can you give me 3 ways to explain the market feedback? And can you make sure that I have a confident but respectful closing recommendation on price? That's a simple prompt. It's detailed, but it's simple and it should help, right? And then after you get your ChatGPT response back, you can say something like, hey, chat, I want you to pretend that you're my seller. I want you to push back on me and I want you to make this difficult. And then actually respond verbally or type your answer and let ChatGPT push back again. Right? So what you're doing is you're asking ChatGPT, giving them details about the transaction, asking ChatGPT to help you create how you're going to communicate this to your clients. And then you're asking ChatGPT to say, hey, when I communicate this to my client, can you kind of give me a live scenario of how they may respond to this, pushing back and make it as difficult as possible. What you're doing when you do that is you're role playing, right? You're role playing. And so when you get stuff like the seller saying, you can basically create different scenarios. You can say like, hey, chat, the seller is saying, hey, originally you're the one that priced this home. Why do we have a problem now? Have chat write a response for that. There's so many different things you can do, but what AI is doing in these situations is it's helping you prepare, right? Now, imagine doing something like this before a listing presentation, right? Or a listing appointment, typing out exactly what you want to say based on the house, based on the comps that you ran. In fact, you can upload, and we'll talk about it in a second, you can upload your actual listing presentation and you can upload the actual comps into ChatGPT and say, hey, these are the comps. This is my listing presentation. Can you help me come up with a script that I can practice for this particular listing appointment I have? You go into these conversations so much sharper than you would have otherwise, right? And the AI didn't conduct the price reduction, you did. You're the person who did it, not AI. AI just helped you prepare it. And that's the difference between an agent who's using AI and an agent who's not. Here's another case study for you guys. Give every contact a reason to hear from you. When it comes to follow up, I say this all of the time. We don't have a lead problem. We have a follow up problem as real estate agents. I think a lot of us are really good at getting leads. We're just really terrible at keeping the leads because we suck at following up. So I promise you, I don't know how many people are in this class right now, but I promise you, there are people in this class who have people sitting in their database right now that you should probably talk to. And you know what happens? We don't know what to say to those people. That's why we don't talk to them. It's not that we're lazy. It's not that we don't want to talk to them. We just aren't sure how to follow up, right? So we send messages like, hey, Bob, just checking in. And guys, nobody wants another just checking in text. So instead, what you could do is you can give ChatGPT all of the notes about this client. Here's an example. Sarah came through my open house 6 months ago. She owns a condo in Silmar. She mentioned that she wants more space before her daughter starts middle school. She wasn't really ready to speak to a lender, and I haven't really spoken to her in 4 months. So, can you give me three natural ways that I can restart this conversation without asking if she's ready to buy right now? Simple, simple prompt. You just got to think through it, give them the details, ask what you need, and then ask for them to provide the prompts for you, right? Now, that's so much different than just typing in something simple like I need to check in or how can I check in with this client, right? Because the outreach that you're providing has context that you're giving ChatGPT, and the goal is really not to trick somebody into responding to you and follow up. The goal is to help you remember kind of like why do I have a relationship with this person in the first place, right? And yeah, Robert said, "Gosh, if they only had a data book playbook with dozens of different scripts to use, and that playbook is amazing. But what if you have some very unique situations, right, that you want to kind of have a really good conversation with? And this is what helps you create really good conversations. And like I told you guys on Monday, you know, every opportunity in our business starts somewhere, and those opportunities come from conversations. You got to have these conversations. So you can't be scared. And ChatGPT will give you a reason to contact some of these people. So it's a great way to restart old conversations, create context-based texts, and to turn your CRM notes into next steps. So that's a great use of this as well. All right. I'm going to give you another case study here. It's going to kind of plug along here. This one is really cool. I use this one all the time. All right. You know, one of your listings can actually become a full marketing campaign pretty easily if you use ChatGPT. I mean, marketing is where almost everybody thinks about AI, and it's great for marketing, but here's what we get wrong. When we think about marketing, we say things like this for ChatGPT. Hey, Chat, write me an Instagram caption for my listing. If I could see your faces, I would say, hey, raise your hand right now if you've done that. Hey, chat, write me a listing description or write me a caption for my Instagram post, right? And then ChatGPT it writes you a caption and it's great. You save 3 minutes, but really that's not leverage. You know, you got to give ChatGPT all the property information at one time and then ask it to create an entire campaign. One very detailed input, multiple outputs. You can with one detailed input into ChatGPT telling chat all about this listing, you can get multiple things out of it. You can get an MLS description, you can get a coming soon email, you can get an Instagram caption, you can get a video script, you can get an open house announcement, you can get a neighborhood outreach flyer or message, you can get a buyer database email, you can get follow-up text, you can get real hooks for Instagram or TikTok. You know, one set of property information can become an entire marketing foundation of just information that you can use, but it's all about making sure that you input as much information as possible about that listing, right? One input creates so many marketing pieces, and I don't think that we're really using it that way, right? When you think about it. So let's give you a live demo of a listing marketing pack. Um, I wanted to like actually show you ChatGPT like as I like type it in, but I think my internet here is a little slower than what I wanted it to be. I was testing it out earlier, so I really hope that you guys are. I'll send you guys all the slides. I'll email them out. But I really hope that you guys are at least trying some of these things. Screenshot this stuff or whatever, but like try it in your ChatGPT. But here's a live demo, right? For a listing marketing pack. Here's how I would do it. I would paste property details from one of my, or what you guys can do is you can paste property info from one of your listings, or you can create a new one. But type in, hey, chat, using the property information that I'm going to provide you, can you create a complete marketing pack for me? I need an MLS description, a coming soon email, an Instagram reel caption. I need 5 Instagram reel hooks that I can use for videos. Can you give me a 20-second video script? Can you give me an open house announcement that I can email out? Can you provide me with a neighborhood invitation to the open house? Can you provide me with a database email that I can send out to all the buyers in my database? Can you, I don't know, provide a post open house follow up text that I can already have preloaded so that when people come to my open house, I can respond to them, right? Anything you could think of, sit down for a minute, type it into ChatGPT and ask for it to come up with these things, right? And then ask, Chat, can you keep everything factually accurate? And please, Chat, do not exaggerate property features. My voice should feel local, it should feel direct, and it should feel conversational in all of these pieces. That's how I would run a chat GPT kind of post to kind of get more data out of that. And notice what I didn't do there. I didn't ask 9 separate questions. I gave it the property brief once and I created this foundation. And then once it starts giving me all of these outputs, I can say, hey, you know what? I need that Instagram reel hook to sound more interesting. Or, you know what? I want this to be a little more luxury. Or this sounds kind of salesy. Can you make it less like an advertisement? Can you give me an Instagram story version of this? Can you turn this into a 15-second voiceover? This is how you multiply content without having to think about it. You provide the story, AI is just packaging the story for you. It's a really, really smart way for you to get a lot out of one listing, right? But you do need to understand what makes your property special. Otherwise, you're just kind of producing some generic, listing content. And generic content is not better content. Trust me on that. Don't just copy what other people are doing. Like, give it some information, give it some context. I'm gonna give you another one here. Another way you can use ChatGPT is to analyze the market instead of just looking at the market. This is beyond just writing things. You can actually upload actual information into ChatGPT. Let me go to the questions real quick, just because I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Will I drop my slides in the chat at the end? Yeah, I can do that for sure. And then it says, after all the script from ChatGPT information is created real, do you record yourself with your phone or do you use a professional videographer? That is a great question, but that is completely your prerogative. If you have the money, if you're closing crazy transactions and you got the money to pay for a videographer, sure, go for it if that's the look you're going for. But I will tell you, some of my non overly produced videos actually go a lot further than just my cell phone and me recording directly into my cell phone. So it's kind of up to you. I wouldn't say there's a right way or a wrong way. What I would say is stop copying everybody. Like, come up with some content that's going to work well for you based on your listing, and just film it however you feel best. I hope that answered your question. All right, here's another case study. This is a good one. Analyzing the market instead of just looking at it. This is where we move beyond just writing stuff. You can actually like upload information into ChatGPT. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but you can upload spreadsheets. You can upload MLS exports. You can upload CMA data. You can upload your market statistics. And instead of simply staring at 30 properties on a spreadsheet, you can actually ask ChatGPT questions about the data. For example, you can upload a bunch of data and you can ask ChatGPT to compare homes that sold in less than 30 days with the homes that sold after 60 days. You can ask questions like, what's the difference, or what's the average list to sale price difference, or which comps best support my pricing recommendation on this listing, right? These are really, really good prompts that you can use. You can say things like, hey, can you turn these numbers into 3 talking points that a seller can understand? That last one's pretty good because our clients don't necessarily care that we have all these stats. I see some of us post social media stuff with like all these crazy stats, like, expireds are up, days on market are up, all these things, all these numbers, right? And our clients don't understand or even care about all those stats, but they care if you can explain what those numbers mean to them. And ChatGPT can help you with that tremendously. Here's a personal example. You can say, you could basically take MLS production data and then ask ChatGPT to help you compare your performance against other agents' averages. not just to invent statistics, right? Robert Hertel did this for me the other day. He sent me an email and he said, "Hey, Alex, I was looking at some data and I noticed that in the Santa Clarita Valley, your listings, based on this MLS data, your listings sell 45% faster than the rest of your competitors. That I don't know what you're going to do with that, Alex, but here's some good information for you." Well, I don't, Robert hasn't seen this yet, but I took that information, I dropped it into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to make some marketing pieces for me. So I'll be rolling those out in the next couple of days. And it's all about how I don't underprice my homes as drastically as my competition, but I still sell them for 45% faster than my competition, right? And then I'm going to create flyers for that. And when I go door knocking in the neighborhood that I farm, that's the flyer that I'm going to hand out because it's stats with real MLS data that's showing how much better of an agent I am at listing homes because I sell them faster than my competition. That is how you can use ChatGPT to help you.
Thank you for
Robert, thank you.
doing something with that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that alley oop. I wanted to make sure I added it in here because it was a good alley oop. You're a regular Magic Johnson over
That's what they call me on the streets, man.
there. Sonia, you can see some of my videos on my Instagram page. Just type in Alex Hollander in Instagram, you'll find me. So cool. All right, let's move on to the next one here. If you have questions, you can either put them in the chat or save them for the end. I'll answer a couple questions for you.
Hi,
Okay,
good afternoon, Alex. Can I ask a quick question?
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you were mentioning about the MLS data, a couple of months ago, Janella from Castro Valley, she did mention that a buyer put in an offer and they got rejected. Then she put a prompt in Chat GPT, and then she used that data and submit another offer, and it was accepted. So how would you go about doing that?
So her client's offer got not accepted, and then I'm not even understand. So specifically, she
The
put
first
data,
time, yeah, the first time it was rejected.
and
Then
then
she did on Chat GPT the prompt, the data. I don't know how she used it. Then they submitted another offer and it was accepted.
okay. I'm not sure what she did. We may want to ask her. I'm assuming what it maybe sounds like is she provided some data into ChatGPT about why they were making that offer at that price point based on whatever data or market stats she had. And maybe that is what convinced the seller to accept the offer based on what she's providing. It sounds like maybe that's what she did. Um, but I can find out for you. I can ask her. I don't know. I didn't hear that presentation, so I'm not sure exactly what she did or how she said it. But the point remains the same. You can use
So,
ChatGPT
so
to
Alex,
go
let
ahead.
me let me help out with that for a little
Yeah.
bit. What it was Chat GPT showed the buyer that if they went up a little bit in price, what the long-term value would be of owning that property based on the amount of time they plan on owning it. So they went into ChatGPT and said, buyer plans on being in this house for whatever the number was, 7 years. What could the possible appreciation be over those 7 years? So ChatGPT built out this whole thing on, hey, if you buy this house now, this could be your low appreciation, this could be your high appreciation. So if you raise your offer $20,000, you're going to appreciate $80,000 over the next time you're going to be in this house. And that kind of helped the buyer understand to raise their price.
Love that. That's so smart. It's a great way to use it. Again, it's just a good way to provide data to package a response or to help you further things along with your client. These are all, there's so many things you can do. I mean, literally, I'm giving you 16 different things you can do today, but maybe closer to 10. But there's so many things that the more you start using it, the more you can see. Let me push on a little bit. I'll answer some questions at the end. How about using it to walk into your appointments a little bit sharper, like having better questions? This one's all about preparation. So before you walk into your listing appointments, why don't you give ChatGPT the situation? My seller bought in 1998. They tried selling the house 3 years ago, but couldn't. And maybe explain why. Here's the CMA that I prepared for them. Here's the current competition that's on the market. Here are the notes from our initial conversation. Heck, they told me that they were interviewing this agent and this agent. So here's my actual real estate competition that's also going to go to these appointments. Here are all my notes from when I spoke to them. And then ask ChatGPT, what questions should I ask them? What objections do you think I'm going to hear? What should I prepare to explain? What part of the CMA is the most important? What argument could the seller make against my pricing recommendation? And when you have all of those answers, that is so powerful. You can do the same thing with your buyers, right? You can give ChatGPT 6 properties and you can ask, maybe your buyer gave you 6 properties for you to look at. You can put all 6 properties, give it to ChatGPT, ask it to create a clean comparison and prepare questions, or you can use it to prepare questions for expired listings or for researching something local. And this is where I want you to know what's the important differences between an agent who uses ChatGPT and one who doesn't. Okay. If something is current, I don't want you to just ask ChatGPT, hey, what are today's mortgage rates? I want you to start saying things like, hey, Chat, can you research current mortgage rate conditions using credible current sources? And can you show me those sources? You can do the same thing with insurance, with development projects, with changes in regulations, something happening with the school in a neighborhood, market news. Don't ask AI to just know information. Ask AI to research current information. And I think that that's a lot safer of a workflow when you're providing information to some of these clients, right? So again, the point is, if you ask the right questions and you're prepared, and you can walk into some of these appointments a lot sharper than what maybe the agent who's not using ChatGPT is walking into the appointment for. Here's a really good one. A really good one that's going to save you a lot of time. Summarizing, extracting, organizing, and then verifying information. Documentation or documents, right? There are a lot of documents that we look at. NHD reports, inspection reports, preliminary title reports, all kinds of different reports, right? So let's just use an inspection report because we all understand that. You can upload your entire inspection report and you can ask ChatGPT to create a checklist of every item related to like the roof, the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing. And I want you to find every reference to, I don't know, water intrusion. Or you can say, hey, Chat, can you summarize this report by major concerns, by maintenance items, by recommended follow-ups? Just think about what you can do with some of these reports that you can drop into ChatGPT and just ask it to kind of look through the reports and highlight specific things. You can HOA documents, meeting notes from HOAs, long email chains, training recaps that you have here at C21. ChatGPT can help you find and organize all of these informations. But what you really got to understand when you're starting to put reports into ChatGPT is summarizing something is not the same as interpreting it professionally. And we got to make sure that we're not kind of using it for like contract disputes and things like that. So if you say something like, hey, what does paragraph 14 of the RPA legally mean for my client? Right? You're kind of crossing into a different area. And I don't think that you should use ChatGPT for those type of things. So I'm just going to throw that out there, right? Like saying, hey, I need to tell my buyer, I need to figure out if my buyer should remove their contingency or not. Honestly, guys, that's your professional responsibility, not AI's, right? So what I'm saying is use AI, use ChatGPT to research the documents, right? And to identify things and formulate questions and organize things, but don't use ChatGPT as your broker. I'm going to repeat that. Do not use AI as your broker. Do not use AI as your attorney. Do not use AI as your CPA. Don't use it as your lender. These are very important distinctions. You can only use it to research things, guys. So I just want to make sure I mention that because I do use it to summarize, extract, and organize information, especially with HOA documents and especially with my inspection reports, but I don't use it to kind of give me a solution. That's different. You got to use your personal kind of expertise to figure that out. All right, we're going to move along a little bit here. And I'm just going to give you simple prompt formula for you guys to use. And again, I'll give you the slides so you can kind of copy this, but I just want to kind of explain what prompting is and why it's important. A lot of people make prompting really complicated. And prompting is basically what you're typing into chat. So we see people online selling things like the ultimate 87-part chat GPT prompt. Don't buy that stuff. You don't need those things. Don't spend your money on that type of stuff. There's 4 things you should remember: context, task, constraints, and the output. So context, what's happening? Don't make chat GPT guess. You got to give it details. My listing has been on the market for 42 days. We've only had 4 showings. My seller rejected a price reduction 2 weeks ago. That's context, right? Then your task. This is what you want ChatGPT to do. I need you to help me prepare this conversation. I need you to put this all together so that I can have a conversation about a price reduction. And then number 3 is your constraints. What should ChatGPT know or avoid about this situation? You can say, the sellers are sensitive. I don't want it to sound negative. Please don't exaggerate. Don't make it sound corporate. Let's keep this under 250 words. The constraints are really important as well because it's going to help kind of put constraints on what you're having it put out for you. And then number 4 is you have to actually like tell it what you want back. So that's the output. I need you to give me a text message or an email or a conversation outline, right? That's it. Context, tasks, constraints, and then output. Pretty simple, right? Any questions about how to like formulate a prompt? I gave you a little example of one on the screen. It says my listing's been active for 42 days with only 4 showings. Help me prepare a price reduction conversation. Sellers are sensitive. Do not sound negative or desperate. And give me a conversation outline, some questions I can ask them, and 3 ways to explain market feedback. That is a much better prompt than simply saying, I need to talk to my client about a price reduction, right? So I'm going to see if I can give you a couple more simple prompts that you can use right away. Let's see. These are some prompts that I think you guys could probably screenshot today and use tomorrow. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to spend like the next couple weeks collecting all these prompts online. Like I said, you're going to see people trying to sell you prompts for real estate agents. People make so much money selling us crap. Do not buy prompts from somebody online. Just have a conversation with ChatGPT. So here's what you can do. Turn this messy voice note into a seller text, then give it some context. Say, make this email warmer, shorter, and more confident. Give me a follow-up text based on my CRM notes. Role play the seller, challenge my recommendation, turn the listing into a marketing campaign, analyze the CMA and find the strongest price points, prepare me for the listing, summarize this report into questions I should investigate. Right? These are all really good prompts that you can use to help kind of guide your conversation a little bit. Any questions about that? So Nick, you said, sometimes I use AI to write clauses in a CAR document, like language in an addendum. I've also had AI review my CAR documents to ensure everything I included is included. Yeah, no, it's a great practice. I do that as well. What I typically do is I do 2 things. I run some of this stuff by my TC, because your TCC a lot, and I say, hey, this is kind of the language I want to add into the addendum, or this is what I want to respond as a request for repair, or whatever the case may be. What do you think? I have my TC look at it. If all else fails, Fred will probably hate me for this or love me for it, but you can always reach out to Fred as well. Fred will be able to tell you if it's legally a good idea or not. Fred's not a lawyer, but he definitely knows compliance pretty well. Let's see. Gina said, I have a new listing that has the potential of a junior ADU or 3 ADU units. The city also has plans already online. How would you use this to benefit through chat? That's a great question. So if you have the NHD report, the title report, any of that kind of stuff, I would probably drop all of that into chat, provide as much information and detail as possible. Fred, okay, so Alice 10, sorry, I'm jumping around. Let me focus on the question with Gina first. So what I would do is I would provide chat with all the details about the listing that you're aware of, right? And if you already have the city plans, I would download those plans and upload them into ChatGPT and say, hey, chat, can you review all of these plans that I have? Here's all the information on the preliminary title report. Here's everything I know about it. It has potential for a junior ADU and 3 ADU units. Can you give me a marketing plan for this? How can I promote this? How can I market this to, and then, guide your outputs. Alice 10 over in San Diego. Fred is the regional advisor here in the LA region. I think you guys might have Terry, who's your contracts person, I think. So if Terry sounds familiar, that's who you would reach out to for that. All right, perfect. Yeah, Alice. So Terry, that's who you would reach out to. Fred is just our guy. If we have questions about our contracts, we reach out and ask him. All right, let's land this plane a little bit. I just want to make sure that we have some guardrails guardrails in place for all of you guys. I want you to know that if you make a mistake, what you can't do is say AI made the mistake, not me. AI made the mistake is not a defense if you get into a situation. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble by claiming AI is what made the mistake. So what I would suggest to you is just remember you're still the licensed professional no matter what AI tells you. DRE has a bunch of specific things that just came out about artificial intelligence in real estate. I suggest that you look over that, you read that. But one of the basic principles of from the DRE is that responsibility doesn't disappear because AI generated something. So just remember, AI cannot say, or you can't say, ChatGPT wrote it if you made a big mistake. Because that doesn't matter if you're sending it, if you're posting it, if you're advertising it, if you're giving it to a client, you are responsible for it. So what you should always do is verify property information before you run it. Beds, baths, square footage, pricing, stats, availability, school information, property features, all of these things, because honestly, guys, AI can hallucinate sometimes. It can give you something that sounds very, very confident, but is completely wrong. So you have to verify all information that you put through here as well. Also, one other thing, make sure you protect confidential information. All right. Be thoughtful about the information that you put onto an AI platform like ChatGPT. Don't start uploading private consumer information. Please don't upload their financial documents, their social security numbers, their account numbers for their bank. All of that stuff is client sensitive information that they're trusting you with. So please just use good judgment and don't turn ChatGPT. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but please don't turn ChatGPT into your attorney. I see a lot of us doing that. ChatGPT can explain concepts. It'll help you organize info, but it's not the source of legal, tax, lending, or disclosure advice that you're passing on as professional fact. Stay in your lane. All right. I don't want to hear a month from now. I don't want Robert to call me and say, hey, Alex gave a class about, putting a report into ChatGPT and I sent it out and now I'm being sued, because it's not my fault, guys. So I'm giving you the disclaimer now. This is not your attorney. All right. And then just remember, fair housing still exists. Using AI does not give you permission to start targeting or using language that you wouldn't otherwise use. So if it gives you any problematic wording, you are still responsible for using it. So just make sure that you review everything it gives you. Last thing, altered property images. We didn't even talk about, there's a whole nother thing about AI where we can talk about images, right? Because honestly, I've been using ChatGPT to create dusk till dawn twilight photos, to remove stuff from inside of homes, so that I have kind of like a digitally altered virtual image and things of that nature. But there are some new rules here in California around digitally modified property images. So before you use AI to alter your real estate photography, like adding pools, removing power lines, changing the views, changing property features, just understand the rules around and the disclosures around that. Fred or whoever does your compliance in your offices can help you with this. But I do believe that if you are going to use an AI altered image or a virtual image, you have to have the virtual image and you have to have the physical real image that you started with right next to each other on the MLS if you're going to use those. Okay. All right. So just land the plane and then open it up for questions because it's already 1:10. Man, this was a long class. I'm sorry. My simple rule is please use AI aggressively for productivity. Play with it, figure out how to use it to your advantage, but use it conservatively for legal things, sensitive information, and compliance. That's it. That's my final thing here. So I'm just going to open it up for questions. Like I told you, this isn't like a super heavy class where I'm giving you exact things, but I just gave you a lot of prompts to use. So let's see. I'm going to go to the first question here. Is it good practice to let clients know when AI helps us or not? In other words, if a client says this report is brilliant, is it wrong? That's I think that's more of a personal thing. I'll tell you my honest answer to that. If someone says this report is brilliant, I take full credit for it because I am asking for the report. Chat. I don't say, "Oh yeah, my assistant handled that for me," or if Zillow gives you a lead that you close, you don't say, "Oh yeah, Zillow's the one that did this transaction." So that's how I see it. At least I think it's okay for you to 100% take credit, even if AI helped you. Lynn said, I have heard that what you type under each photo, AI can read it, even though it's not seen on Redfront or Zillow. I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea about that. All right, guys. I know some of you guys want to get going, get back to your day. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quickly. And then I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. So go ahead and unmute yourself. If you have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And then let me also see if I can upload while we do this, the file. Test ChatGPT and
Alex, what's
Claude.
an assignment for them?
Try using ChatGPT 2 times this month to create something. 2 times this week.
Let's do this. Give them something they can do this week and have them turn it into you and me, and then we'll raffle. Whoever does it will be putting a raffle, and we'll raffle something off.
Oh, I like that. Okay, cool. Okay, so the first thing will be the simplest thing. Use ChatGPT or some type of AI this week to create a marketing plan for you to roll out on your social media over the next 10 days.
Okay. So do that and then send that to Alex and myself. And then you have until Friday. And then Monday, whoever has done that, we'll do a little raffle and we'll give away something. We'll give away like a free Zillow showcase or a marketing budget or something.
Oh man, you're giving away big prize. I was going to give away one of those pins, but Zillow Showcase sounds fun.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. We'll give away a free Zillow showcase. So if you just do what Alex said, turn it into Alex and I, no matter how good or bad it is, we'll do a raffle for anyone who turned it in, and we'll give away one of those.
So what's the deadline for this?
Yeah.
Gotta turn it in by
Someone's asking me to
Friday.
repeat it. So.
I'm gonna do the raffle Monday.
So
I guess you have until Sunday, technically. I'm gonna do the raffle Monday. So you have
yeah, so
5,
someone's
6
asking to
days.
repeat what that. Yeah, one of them is saying repeat what it is. So basically use ChatGPT to come up with a social media marketing plan that you can roll out on your social media. Simple, very simple. I got a bunch of questions in the chat though. So Tess, you asked if it's better to use chat or Claude. I don't know if I answered, but you said thanks. I would say it's your prerogative. I think they do very similar things. I think ChatGPT is a little stronger for images. I use ChatGPT pretty a lot, basically. I have Claude, but I don't use it as much. But I do hear that the prompting and the output on Claude is a lot stronger. So, I mean, play with both of them and kind of see what works for you. But what I would suggest, Tess, if you're going to play with both of them, don't spend all day doing it. Like carve out 45 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day to kind of test it out for a week or so, and then figure out what you want to use. Don't get caught in the vortex of trying new shiny toys and not prospecting and following up with people.
All right.
And then should we pay for the monthly fee for ChatGPT or only a simple one if it's okay? Well, it's up to you. I would suggest if you're not used to using it, don't pay for it yet. But what you will find is that there is some limitations in how often you can use it. So if you use it a bunch of times, it may say, hey, you can't use this again for another, for another 3 hours or something like that. So if you find yourself using it too much, then just pay the $20. That's what I would suggest.
Diana says she uses only the $8 one.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know they had an $8 one. That's even better. Any other questions over here? My computer's about to die, so but I'd love
Thank
to
you,
answer.
Alex.
Yeah, no problem.
It's a great class.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I did upload the slides. I think those are the slides. And then our email. So my email is alex@hollander.homes. I think Robert's, just search Robert Hertel in your email. I'm sure you've got an email from him. Oh, Lynn, thank you so much. She provided his.
I mean, at this point, if you don't know my contact information, then you're clearly not very plugged into the company.
Yeah, but you got mine there, so we're good too. And cool. If we have no more questions, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And hopefully I see you next month if I do another one of these.
Alrighty. Thanks so much.
All right, no worries, guys. Bye.